Hello and thank you once again for joining us on another lovely edition of the program. First and foremost, I want to say Happy New Year to you all, and we welcome you to a lovely edition of Daytime Talk. We are coming to you live on Lagos Television, UHF 35 and Channel 256 on DSTV. I am Wunmi Kolawole. Now on the show today, we want to talk about New Year resolution. First, what does the New Year mean to you? Do you have a New Year resolution? And what does it mean to you? Well, I know by now, some of us may not even have a New Year resolution. You're probably still thinking, okay, what are the things I wouldn't want to do in this new year? Or what are the things I want to improve on? Okay, can I just add this to some of the things I want to do in the new year? And of course, how can we make sure we fulfill our righteousness, without committing certain atrocities during the new year? Just by keeping to it or encouraging other people to become better people in the new year. Of course, I'm not alone in this discussion. In the studio with me, I have public affairs analyst in person of Frank Ogundana. Thank you for being part of the show today.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
And I also have motivational speaker, Fola Daniel. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I have broadcaster, Olori Ajoke David. Thank you for being part of the show today. And of course, broadcaster and blogger Kenny Rhoda will be joining us in the course of this discussion. But first, let me ask you, well, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year once again.
Okay, so the new year, what does it mean to you? Because we know we all get excited. It's the new year. It's 2015. What exactly does it mean to you? Because I'm sure it means different things to different people.
Well, New Year, I think it has its own general understanding. It does not mean anything different to me than what it means to you. It means that we are changing from 365 days to start another 365 days, which in that kind of a change is not just an ordinary change, but a change that is going to add nominal value of figures to your life. So if you are going to stay on it for 100 years, it's telling you, man, you are losing 1 year out of that 100, and you are going to gain one. So it means that, well, things have not to be taken as usual.
Not for granted.
There's some, no, not for granted, as usual. If last year I was planning to have 10 wives, I've gotten only 7. That means this year I want to add one more. Or I've gotten 3 wives and I know they are giving me a problem. Then this year I want to reduce 2. Out of there I want to have 1. So there are many things attached to it that will make you to think positive and negative, and you come to strike a balance. What do I do?
Okay. Let's hear from you, Louis.
My idea of New Year or resolution is...
well, the New Year first. Then we'll come to the resolution.
It's the beginning of another unplanned days that you just, you have your own projection. You just finished a particular set of focus. Now you're focusing on a fresh one. A calendar year that you are projecting for so many things, but you don't know which one will be, will come in first, which one will come in after. You know the numbers by head, or you have a calendar at which you follow up the roster to which the day will go. But now you're having a new something different from what you've always had. Last year I used to be like this, or last year went the way I actually wanted it. This year you're anticipating for something different. So that is the newness in the year. Now coming to resolution,
You want to do things differently. We'll come to that resolution. Okay. So Fola, let's hear from you. I mean, 31st we're all in church waiting for that 12, p.m. and 12 a.m. rather. And you're saying, okay, we are all Happy New Year and things like that. And you must have talked to your God about something. People go into the new year with different feelings.
The first thing is, because it's new, it means that something is old and can be forgotten. You have a new slate, you have a clean sheet to start with. And I say that it's a new year would be an opportunity to yearn for more, an opportunity to start all over, an opportunity to do something different from what you did or achieve what you couldn't achieve. So if we're looking at, for instance, there are certain things you probably were disappointed about in the past year. One of the things that makes people look forward to the new year is, oh, thank God, at least this is a new year, so that one is gone. I can do it this time around. If there were no
and that's why you hear people saying, "No, things are pressed away."
Exactly. So people look forward to, yes, people look forward to things getting better. People look forward to things becoming different, and people look forward to achieving more. They expect that the disappointments will not come over into the new year. You expect opportunities. You expect breakthroughs. You expect big breaks. That's why people are so excited about the new year.
Okay. Now, talking about New Year resolution, do people actually believe in it? Do they really know what it means?
Well, I can say these days, you don't see the craze about New Year resolution like it used to be when we were in the university, when we were younger, when we were going to the service on 31st. Before we got to that 31st hour, we'll be discussing among the peers, next year resolution, I'm going to take a new resolution. I won't do this, I won't do this. We begin to discuss among ourselves. And the moment we get to the church service, few minutes or few hours to that crossover, we begin to use that resolution to pray. God, that craze, I don't think is existing anymore. I don't know. But during our time, it was just like a hit. So what I just believe about is that a resolution is something that, okay, I'm taking a new stand, or I'm making up my mind about some certain issues that may be a peculiarity of your life, or maybe something that is generalized. I was a drunkard, and I don't want to drink anymore. Before you make such decisions, you will weigh the two sides of the coin and say, okay, I've done this one for about 5 years now, and I've never been able to better my life. And this coming year, I don't think I'm going to continue with this kind of character. There was a time in my life when I was told about sugar, that it's not good for people to be taking sugar, this and that. And I made a resolution sometimes in 1985, December 31st, 1985, that I will not take mineral again. That all I will be taking is something that is not. And for 10 years, I kept that resolution.
For 10 years? For
10 years, I did not take minerals. Sorry for Coca-Cola and other Pepsi. I didn't take it for just about 10 years. And when you are taking a resolution, you are taking a strong measure of character. Strong.
That willpower.
And strength, your strength of character must be behind that resolution. If you are making a resolution, there are no strength or character there, that resolution cannot last. So don't let me just speak too long so that others can contribute. But I just know that, yes, the resolution you are making must be backed up by strength of character.
Okay, what do you have to say regarding that? Do people really understand what it means to start with?
They do. It's just that it's quite difficult for you to behave in such a manner that you actually want to change from. It's easy for you to say, I am Wunmi, and from henceforth, I want to make this decision that I will get home by 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. in the evening.
You don't want to be a crawler.
You understand, you don't want to be a crawler, and maybe your work, your friends, your colleagues, you know, one assignment or the other will just try to like. And you're like, I wish I'd done this thing earlier. At times, the society, or let me say we, because you yourself, you have to make decision yourself first before the society can, you know, accept it the way you want it. Like, it's a decision on something you decide that I don't want to do, or it's a behavior that I just want to change the mannerism of that thing that you've always done. I don't want to be a night crawler. What do I have to do? Okay, I leave the office on time, and I try as much as possible to work, you know, and make sure that I beat the traffic, or do whatever it is I have to do. I know someone who always say, even if I'm going to church, I would have made sure I've covered up all the assignments I have to do in the office for me to be able to get to service on time, because even by the time my boss will want to call me back and say, have you done this? Yes, sir. Have you done this? Yes, sir. I will want to even cover some other areas. In other words, our decision, our mindset comes first when we talk about resolution. Comes first in the sense that, like you were saying, 10 years, it's not easy. You come and cut bottles of soft drink every day. That does not mean it's children or the wife, or he doesn't attend events or ceremony. But you just need to make up your mind and stick your mind to it that, see, I have made up my mind. Can I have a bottle of water? Even when people are like,
By the way, that means you're just drinking water throughout then.
I was drinking water. From the beginning of my life, I don't drink beer. I was not introduced to that in my family background. I was not opportune to drink beer. Then I was drinking mineral, Mirinda, all these things.
And when you went off it, you were drinking
They just told me that
strictly
is
water.
dangerous.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
So you can imagine the decision and making up his mind that come what may. Even when I get to my family, but someone who is as close as, as whatever you can imagine to you, just like, I don't want any salt, just give me a bottle of water. And if you don't have water, okay, I'm okay. There is no event you go, will not get water now. Water should not be difficult to get. So it's a mindset, what you make up your mind to do, and you focus. You put every other thing aside. You put your emotions, your sentiments, and every other thing aside.
So
and you
the understanding is there.
it.
We understand, okay, that this is it, and this is what we want to do.
That is what I know.
Okay, so let's hear from you, Fola.
I'm glad you asked, do people really understand it?
Yes.
I think that quite a number of people don't. The word resolution means resolve, doggedness, firmness. And if you check on, it's not just a mere wish. When people make resolutions these days, you just hear them say, oh, I want to stop this, I want to stop that. You can't feel a strong determination to actually commit to that plan. I've been writing about it on different blogs for some days now, and for the rest of this week, that's what I'm still writing about. Now, when you're making a resolution, one of the things you need to know is that most of us make resolutions in isolation. Resolution is a smaller part of a big chunk. It's a smaller part of a plan. I'll give you an example. If, for instance, I have a plan for the year to improve my grades, maybe as a student, then the question will be, what are the things that are not allowing my grades to improve? If I do a checklist, I may now find that maybe I spend too much time watching television. So the plan to improve my grade will then necessitate the need for me to reduce the time spent in front of a television. So it's not just a wish for me to reduce watching television. The goal is I want to improve my grades.
And you must really think about it.
So there is a motivation for wanting to do that. If you just make the resolution in isolation, as I said earlier, there's no purpose for it. So you can stop it at any point in time. You lost nothing. But when you think, oh, my grades must improve, and your grades are actually improving, what would you do? You spend lesser time actually watching the television because you can see the result with your grades. And until you see those results, you're not likely going to return to those habits. Then the other part is your finances. Take, for instance, you say, oh, this year I'm not going to borrow. You just said you're not going to borrow. The question is, why is it that you don't want to borrow? Now, if you have a plan to attain financial freedom, or if you have a plan to build a house this year, then you now need to tell yourself, why haven't I built the house? Is it that I didn't have the money? Is it that I could not have built that house? But then you check that you realize that you've been buying too many gadgets. Maybe you have a gadget that's worth over 100,000 naira. How much is a block now? A block is probably less than 100 naira. Divide 100 naira by 100,000. That tells you how many blocks that you can get from one tablet that you're holding or one mobile phone that you're holding. So calculate how many gadgets you use in a year. That tells you how many blocks you are carrying around. So it's your house that you're carrying in your hand. Now, you now tell yourself, okay, I'm going to reduce my spending. Or maybe if it's cars that you've been buying. You are a tenant, you have 3 cars. What are you doing with 3 cars as a tenant? If you have two, you have one, your wife has one, I still understand that. But you have a third one and you live in a man's house and you're complaining he's increasing the rent. It will happen. So you now say to yourself, I must build my house. I need to reduce my cars. So that is easier because there's a bigger picture. And the bigger picture helps you to stick with that resolution. For instance, as a writer too, last year I did decide I was going to do 365 articles in a year, which is 1 article per day. How did I achieve that? That was last year.
And you're telling us you achieved it.
And I achieved it, yes.
Okay.
How did I achieve it? Now, I've done 3 books already. I've published 3 books, and I'm looking forward to publishing more books. I really don't have that time to sit and say, I want to write a book at a stretch. So I thought to myself, if I write 1 article per day, I'm already writing a part of the book. So at the end of the year, when I'm ready to publish, what would I do? I just go to all the things that I've written, put them together, and the book is ready. So that helped me to stick with it. So when people make resolutions and they're just making wishes, there's really no bigger plan. And then when there are no consequences or benefits, then you won't stick with. For instance, if you know you
stick with. Okay, we'll come to that.
All right.
You know why you wouldn't want to stick it, because I'm still going to ask you that.
Okay.
But he said something about people, you know, they're not being crazy about even making resolutions anymore. Why is that?
Okay, one of the things I said was that there are no consequences anymore, and we don't focus on benefits.
Are you sure there are no consequences anymore?
When I say there are no consequences, take for instance, if, like him rightly